travel well.
A Green Valley High School teacher tries to kill himself in a classroom. Tonight, the reasons the district tried to keep students in the dark. Governor Gwynn delivers his State of the State address with big plans to send more students to college and put more money back in your pocket. And a traffic stop turns into a wild chase. A North Las Vegas police officer is wounded trying to take down an armed man.
This is News 3 Nightside with Nina Revetich and Jim Snyder.
Good evening, everyone. Nina is getting a much-deserved night off. I'm Beth Fisher. We'll get to those stories in a moment, but we have breaking news tonight.
We do. A construction fire in North Las Vegas. Gerard Romalo is live at Las Vegas Boulevard and Lamb. And Gerard, the fire crews must be thinking, here we go again. They've seen this kind of thing before.
Absolutely. Firefighters are still on scene here, dousing the last few hot spots. This is a construction area, and as you know, construction fires not entirely unusual out here in the valley. My photographer, Joe Schrage, was able to get in a little bit closer earlier. We'll show you his video. You can see that there were 3 homes here under construction. The fire started in the middle unit, and it spread to the outer units. Now, what complicated matters was that the nearest fire hydrant was not functioning, so firefighters had to actually pull more than 600 feet of hose. They did manage to get the fire out, but not before most of the damage was done, unfortunately. As for a cause, well, there were no working utilities inside these units, so all of that is going to be investigated. There's a possibility that perhaps it was vagrants or perhaps some vandals. Again, that's going to be investigated, along with why there were no working fire hydrants in the near vicinity. Reporting live, I'm Gerard Romalo. Now back to you.
Gerard, thank you. Now to a tragic start to the school week, a day students at Green Valley High School would rather forget.
And going in here, we should mention we normally don't report suicides or suicide attempts, but since this one happened at a school, it affected a lot of people and it brought up some questions. Social studies teacher Wade Bycroft was found by another teacher early this morning, about an hour before classes began. School police say he had stabbed himself in the abdomen and lost a lot of blood before he was found. There was a suicide note, but the district is not releasing what was written at this point. Bycroft has been a teacher at Green Valley High since August of 2001. Students say he was well liked and there didn't appear to be anything wrong with him. After Bycroft was found, the school closed off his classroom and several nearby rooms. Students were told there was a medical emergency, but that was it. But it didn't take long for word to get around campus, and some students we talked with were upset that they weren't told the truth up front.
The way that the school came across, like there's caution signs all over the school. They're not telling us what happened, and we're thinking the worst out of things. And now that we actually know what's going on, it's actually better that we know, but it was scary at first.
The administration did the best they could to keep the situation as quiet as possible without trying to create any unnecessary panic among the students. They wanted the students to go on business as usual.
Now, Bycroft is in serious condition at UMC tonight. As I said, he was in pretty rough shape by the time he was found. School police don't know how long he was in that classroom bleeding. Grief counselors have been assigned to Green Valley High School for students who want to talk to someone about what's happened.
For the 3rd time in the past few months, police say an armed suspect may have been trying to commit suicide by cop. You saw it first on 3. North Las Vegas police say the suspect was pointing a shotgun at people in the area of Simmons and Craig. He was driving a pickup at the time, but witnesses say the shotgun was clearly visible. As Gerard Romalo shows us, had the suspect not surrendered, he may have ended up dead.
This is how it ended. 23-year-old Marcus Thomas safely in the custody of police. Officers first found him in North Las Vegas after receiving 911 calls that he was driving around pointing a shotgun at people.
At that point, he stuck the shotgun out the back window of the pickup and fired around at the police car, which means the chase is on.
The suspect led police to this neighborhood near Rainbow and Craig. Ultimately, officers used a ramming technique to get him to stop. It worked. His truck was forced into a wall. But it wasn't over yet.
I ran to the other window and I was like looking outside, and the cops all had guns drawn and there was a bunch of yelling.
Police found themselves in a standoff. The suspect was surrounded, and after some negotiating, he did decide to turn himself in. Officers now believe he may have had a death wish.
During that time, he made some comments we believe might have been suicidal, and ultimately we were able to talk him into going ahead and giving up.
Marcus has been charged with attempted murder of a police officer, evading arrest, and firing on a vehicle.
In October of last year, North Las Vegas police were involved in a shootout. The suspect was killed and officers believe he wanted to die. Metro police were also involved in a shootout with an armed suspect that month, and they too believe it may have been a suicide attempt.
This might give you something to dream about as you fall asleep tonight. A tax refund check could be on the way to your mailbox soon. That's one of the big headlines out of Carson City tonight after Governor Kenny Gwynn's State of the State address. News 3's Steve Krupe has been analyzing that speech, and Steve, Nevada's economy is putting a big smile on the governor's face.
It sure is, Jim, and that is a sharp contrast to what we saw 2 years ago when the economy was in the dumps and the governor had to push for that nearly $1 billion in tax increases. Well, now the financial picture in Nevada is a lot different, and those rebate checks could soon be on their way. This was Governor Gwynn 2 years ago with a rather grim message.
My fellow Nevadans, we have a great and difficult distance to travel together.
Now the governor has much better news.
And yes, even the state of the budget is strong. Thank you very much.
This tale of two economies could now result in a windfall for taxpayers.
I am proposing that $300 million be given back to the taxpayers.
The governor says part of the budget surplus should be given back to tax-paying Nevadans in the form of a DMV registration rebate of up to $300 per car. The governor says Nevada's economy is now firing on all cylinders, especially when it comes to jobs.
Nevada has its lowest unemployment rate on record. Let me repeat this remarkable feat, the lowest unemployment rate on record. We are nearly 2 points below the national average.
The governor is also calling for additional spending on Nevada's public schools. He says too many of the state's classrooms are not giving kids what they need.
The state of Nevada has 122 schools classified as failures, and another 99 schools are on the warning list.
The governor says he is budgeting $100 million to improve troubled schools. And the governor also acknowledged that something has to be done about skyrocketing property taxes here in Nevada, but he seemed to leave that job up to those lawmakers who begin the 2005 legislative session in 2 weeks. Live in the newsroom, I'm Steve Krupe. Jim, back to you.
All right, Steve, thanks. And at least at this point, the two parties seem to be getting together. After the speech, state Democrats congratulated the Republican Governor Gwynn and said they support a number of his proposals, especially the push for increased education funding and adding more money to the state's rainy day fund. Another big Democratic plan is to create a state lottery. Several of them floated the idea last week. They say we're a big enough state now to support a lottery, and Democrats say the profits would help the schools reduce class sizes and pay for new textbooks. They also want to push for a minimum wage increase. If you remember, back in November, voters approved a ballot question to raise the minimum wage to $6.15 an hour. Democrats also want to bring relief to homeowners who have seen their property values skyrocket.
We're going to be focused on immediate results, that's true, but we're also going to be looking at the long term on serious issues like property tax relief.
State Democrats say they will reveal their full agenda next Wednesday.
Well, Election Day is over unless you live in Ward 1, in which case you're still getting all sorts of campaign flyers. This is just some of Jim Snyder's stack. He lives in Ward 1, where there is a recall vote that could cost City Councilwoman Janet Moncrief her job. Polls are open from 7 to 7 tomorrow. Almost 3,000 people already took part in early voting over the weekend. That's about 8% of registered voters. Election officials don't expect a large turnout tomorrow. Moncrief is being challenged by Republican Vicki Quinn and Democrat Lois Tarkanian, although you know that if you've paid any attention to all these flyers. The results of the election will be certified Thursday during a special city council session.
The Ghilardi Strip Club scandal will take center stage during a meeting of the Clark County Commission tomorrow. Commissioners will consider whether to grant a liquor license for the Leopard Lounge and Jaguars strip clubs. The current owner, Jack Ghilardi, bought the clubs from his son, Michael, after Michael admitted bribing lawmakers in exchange for votes and influence on zoning issues. The clubs have been operating under new management and with temporary liquor licenses. Jack Ghilardi says a full license is key to keeping Jaguars and the Leopard Lounge in business. But the commission's decision may hinge on a report from Metro. Detectives have been investigating Ghilardi for the last year, and they will present their findings at tomorrow's meeting.
Northern Nevada has been under siege by fog, and tonight it is finally beginning to clear out. This is after 8 straight days of cloudy skies and low visibility on the roads. There is some relief in sight. Dana Wagner tells us that there are only a couple of areas that remain packed in tonight, but most of the fog has already blown out. The fog has been responsible, though, for dozens of accidents in the last week. Drivers say they couldn't see more than a couple of hundred feet in front of them. But when it comes to highway hazards, nothing compares to what's happening in the Northeast. Cities have only just begun to dig out from one of the worst blizzards in years. A whopping 38 inches in Massachusetts. Dana Wagner is in the Weather Center to show us how bad it's gotten and if it's going to get worse.
Well, this was just a wet, heavy snowstorm that froze quickly as temperatures dipped into the single digits. Behind me, this is a waterfront community in New England where homes are literally encased in ice. Some families can't even get outside. Being right on the water made it worse. Waves and sea mist washed over the houses and froze. Even cars are stuck to the streets. Water even made its way into this woman's house. Now she's walking around on ice, and the temperature inside is even colder than outside.
Ocean water, yes, because the water was coming at one point. It was like a river in the driveway, and it just pours in the basement here. And usually it's okay because they have the sub pump, but with no electricity, no pumps.
They're going to get a little break tomorrow, but then snow likely again on Wednesday. As a matter of fact, we even have a chance of snow here in southern Nevada again. We'll tell you when we think it'll hit coming up in just a few minutes. Beth?
Dana, thank you. Now to the war in Iraq and another big request from the White House. Tomorrow, President Bush plans to ask Congress for another $80 billion for Iraq and the military operations in Afghanistan. The budget request will formally go to Congress after President Bush introduces his new budget on February 6th. That brings the total cost for this fiscal year to $105 billion and more than $280 billion since 9/11. Meanwhile, in Iraq, a victory for the incoming government. Iraqi authorities say they have arrested a chief terrorist. The Pentagon believes he's the man responsible for 75% of car bombings in Baghdad. The arrest comes with less than a week to go until Iraq's elections.
Back here in this country, from Hollywood to Las Vegas, friends and fans can't stop talking about the legendary career and character of Johnny Carson.
You're watching him last night. I'm watching all these clips, and I'm laughing out loud at some stuff that's 25 years old.
Still ahead on Nightside, Johnny's influence here in Las Vegas and how he ended up in a feud with our state's former governor.
Plus, President Bush, a bad actor? See how the commander-in-chief wound up on the losing end of Hollywood's award season.
And almost 5 years after Elian Gonzalez was taken from his families in Miami, neighbors are suing the government. Hear why one woman says sending the boy back to Cuba almost killed her.
Battling the flu with antibiotics. Doctors say demand for the drugs is on the rise, but they won't do a thing for what ails you. Find out why and 3 things that tell you if you really have the flu.
Dana's going to talk about some rain. More on that and 2 chances to win with the Fredericks Fat. News 3 at Sunrise starts at 5 a.m.
Closed captioning sponsored by Centennial Spine and Pain Center, specializing in laser spinal treatment, an alternative to major surgery. Call 839-1203.
Every week it's Samstown Live and right here on Channel 3. Coaches, players, pretty girls, gladiators weekly. Let's go!
Gladiators Weekly, your behind-the-scenes look at the best in Gladiators football. The passes, the plays, and the passion. Saturday nights at 7:30 on Channel 3. Plus, you can be a part of our studio audience Monday nights at Sam's Town Live starting at 6:30. Food, fun, and a chance to win a custom motorcycle. Gladiators Weekly, only on Channel 3.
I'm attorney Chad Golightly. Our legal fees are 22% for one reason: to be a real help to those people whose lives have been shattered by a serious accident. When a client retains our law firm, they receive strong, honest, and experienced representation, resulting in a maximum settlement. But that's not all. Thanks to our low 22% fee, our clients receive even more money. Our fee is 22%, and you can take that to the bank.
For strong, honest representation, call Golightly & Associates.
I like big trucks and I cannot lie. Desert knows why. When a truck pulls in with a big old bed or an SUV, I lose my head because I like big trucks.
It's Desert Nissan's Big Truck Sale. Use big factory incentives to get big savings on a huge selection of Nissan trucks and SUVs. Like new Nissan Frontiers, $3,500 off MSRP. Or new Sentras and Ultimas, also $3,500 off MSRP.
I like big trucks.
So who you gonna call? Desert Nissan.
Closed captioning in Spanish, sponsored by attorney Adam Kuttner. Injured? Call the law offices of Adam S. Kuttner for a free consultation. 382-0000.
This is your News 3 traffic alert with Tom Holly.
It looks like another evening of restrictions on the Orrin K. Gregson Expressway. This time our focus is on the area just to the west of Jones, where a storm drain is going in as part of the US 95 widening process. About a half-mile stretch of the freeway is being reduced to a single lane, creating delays in both directions. NDOT plans to have everything cleared up by 5 a.m. in time for the morning rush hour.
You're watching News 3 Nightside with Nina Radatich, Jim Snyder, weather with Dana Wagner, and sports with Mitch Roberts. We are News 3, where news comes first.
If you've had the TV on at all in the past couple of days, you know America is paying tribute to Tonight Show legend Johnny Carson. This is video from Hollywood where honorary mayor Johnny Grant put up a memorial at Carson's star on the Walk of Fame. Carson died yesterday morning after a battle with emphysema. He was 79 years old. For a lot of comedians in Hollywood, Las Vegas is kind of like a home away from home, the place where they come to try out some new material and maybe get noticed before they break into stardom.
And Johnny Carson was no different. He made his first appearance here in 1964 and headlined at local hotels for years. Tonight, News 3 talked to Sandy Hackett, son of legendary comic Buddy Hackett, who is considered one of the top 5 Tonight Show guests of all time. He was also a close friend of Carson. Sandy says Buddy was the go-to guy when a guest would cancel an appearance on the show because Carson knew he could be funny on cue.
But my dad would go out to the studio audience long before the warm-up and tell maybe the most ribald, risque, dirty, filthy jokes you'd ever want to hear. And just the audience would roar. And then Ed would come out and go, Buddy, you can't be telling these jokes. I just wanted to tell him a joke, Ed. I didn't know. It's not like we're on the camera. Who's going to know?
Sandy says Johnny was a consummate professional and will always be remembered as the king of late night. Isn't that the truth? As News 3's Ben Correa found, there are many Las Vegans who have their own memories of Johnny Carson.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he was the talk show host who tucked several people to bed every night. A man who made people laugh, but some remember Johnny Carson for going a little too far with his TV jokes when he took a pot shot at women in Nevada.
And he had the little bit on TV, which in fact was, how do you tell the difference between a Nevada woman and a parrot? Well, you can teach a parrot to say no.
After that, then Nevada Governor Richard Bryan wrote a letter to Carson asking him to apologize, and Carson responded on The Tonight Show.
He came on every night. He had the last word. And so he had a little segment with, you know, the lights and everything, and it was entitled Lighten Up, Governor. And he had considerable fun at my expense.
Say a few words about diarrhea.
During his 30 years as the host of The Tonight Show, Carson brought on several well-known faces.
It was always
every comedian's dream to be on the Johnny Carson Show. I auditioned for 5 years before I made it onto the show.
He also helped boost the careers of some well-known Las Vegas headliners.
He changed the whole landscape of comedy. He was such a fan of talent, and he was so encouraging when you got on the show, and he would feed you lines, and he would love to be cracked up. He was a joy to work with.
Ben Correa, News 3.
Jay Leno got his big break on Carson's Tonight Show, and right after Nightside, he'll pay tribute to the man he calls the gold standard. Stay up late with Leno for a special Tonight Show tribute to Johnny Carson. Guests include Ed McMahon, Don Rickles, and Bob Newhart. That's coming up right after this newscast.
Alexander the Great, Catwoman, and President Bush. It's not the opening of a joke. Those are the leading contenders for this year's Razzie Awards. That's the awards that honor the worst movies of the last year. Oscar winner Halle Berry is the biggest name on the list. Catwoman has a leading 7 nominations, including Worst Actress, Worst Picture, and Worst Supporting Actor and Actress. Pretty much a clean sweep. Oliver Stone's Alexander also bombed at the box office. It's now picked up 6 Razzie nominations. And Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11 has 5 nominations, not for Worst Picture, but in the Worst Acting categories. President Bush, Condoleezza Rice, and Donald Rumsfeld are all nominated. This is all coming from that group, not from us. Other Razzie nominees include Surviving Christmas, White Chicks, and clearly an oversight, Anchorman is on the list, which will be a classic someday, and I know that history will prove me right. Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy.
How could that be on the list?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Anybody who saw Jim Snyder, Halloween Night, you would know you were a fan of the movie.
It's a classic costume for a classic movie. I guess if you're in the business, it's a little funny. But
yeah, there are some moments that I cracked up at.
Yeah.
Ryan didn't get it. You
Really?
know, like the promo shot. You know, in the movie where they're like,
yes.
well, they really
Dana
make
Wagner.
us do that for promos, and we never turn at the same time. And so we found that hysterical, and probably people at home went, whatever, that's dumb.
All I have to say is be classy, Beth. All right, let's pop you outside. Arcane, back of the audience humor, folks. From the Mandalay Bay camera, a lot of clouds out there still hanging around tonight. Not much rain embedded in those clouds, though, but it looks like some rain is moving our direction. 57 right now, calm winds, and temperatures haven't cooled down much from the afternoon high of 62. 4 degrees above the average, but we are only 5 degrees cooler than that 62 right now because of all that cloud cover outside. Temperatures from the Wells Fargo Weather Network all in the 50s right now, with 55 in Henderson, 54 in North Las Vegas, 53 up in Nellis. We did see a lot of clouds today. We even saw some scattered showers, up to an 1/8 of an inch in some spots of the valley today, 0.08 of an inch, I should say. And more rain down in Arizona than we had, and also rain building up in Southern California, all circulating around an area of low pressure that is starting to move our direction. This storm system will spread rain all the way from Southern California up into the Pacific Northwest, and we think enough of that rain will spill over in the valley starting late Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday right now, best shot at seeing some rain and snow, a possibility in the upper elevations of the mountains of southern Nevada, starting as early, possibly, as tomorrow morning. Nationally speaking, they're starting to clear out a little bit in the Northeast. Snow showers coming to an end tonight, and tomorrow they're going to get a break, and then the next storm system whooshes right into the area, snow likely on Wednesday in the Northeast. Last thing they need, boy, it has been cold and snowy. In fact, they set a new record low in New York City this morning, got down to 6 degrees. Beckley, West Virginia got down to -3, and Augusta, Georgia also set a new record low this morning. Local forecast around here, snow is a possibility up in the mountains starting as early as tomorrow morning. Better chance Tuesday night into Wednesday for snow up in Mount Charleston with a high of 48 degrees. Meanwhile, out at the lake, not a bad day. They're going to have a few clouds out there with a high of 69 degrees. Winds coming out of the south 5 to 10, and a chance of seeing some rain there, but it looks like better late in the afternoon than early during the day. Tonight, 49. We may get a stray sprinkle out there, but nothing more than that. Tomorrow, 64. We're going to have partly cloudy conditions and a chance of rain developing late in the day. Better chance of rain on Wednesday, tapering off Thursday, a break Friday, and then another storm system moves in this weekend. So we're back in that unsettled pattern. For 2 weeks, we had all that sunshine, warm temperatures. Beth missed it all on vacation, and now she's back. Wait a minute. You're the one, aren't you?
Maybe. I'll take blame. It's all right.
Coincidence? I don't think so. All right. Thanks, Dana.
Sure.
Still ahead here tonight, the Elian Gonzalez case back in the headlines.
Find out why the two sides in the case are fighting over $3 million. That's next.
Happy 100th birthday, Las Vegas, and congratulations to Channel 3 celebrating 50 years on the air.
We're proud to be part of your history, your present, and your future. You have a lot to be proud of.
Thanks for watching Channel 3, where news comes first.
Ka is the story of twins who will take you on a journey in a way you've never seen before. Ka, the new epic tale from Cirque du Soleil at MGM Grand.
Plan a trip to Global Bazaar at Target. It's a world of treasures for your home. But get here before it's gone.
Thinking about selling your car? Come to CarMax before you go anywhere else. We'll give you a free written appraisal of your car, good for 7 days or 300 miles, whether you buy a car from us or not. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
CarMax.com makes car shopping quick and easy. With actual prices, photos, and details on over 20,000 cars nationwide, you can search for cars without missing a play. CarMax, the way car buying should be.
It's been almost 5 years since Elian Gonzalez was taken from his relatives in Miami and sent back to his father in Cuba. Now, some people who were there during that raid are suing the federal government. The trial started today. 13 people are asking for $3 million, claiming they were hurt or traumatized during this scene when federal agents stormed in, raided the home, and took the boy from his relatives. A neighbor told the court today that she thought she was dying when agents doused her with tear gas. The government says authorities used proper force, what you're looking at right here, when they raided the house. 108 people originally filed the lawsuit, but a judge limited it to just those people who were right around the police barricades during the raid. And we'll be right back.
For 30 years, Johnny kept America up late. Tonight, join Jay for a special Tonight Show tribute to Johnny Carson. With Ed McMahon, Bob Newhart and Don Rickles, Drew Carey and Katie Lang in a full-hour celebration of the king of late night. NBC Tonight.
Now the long drive champ will try and drive a ball through those sprint yellow pages.
No!
That'll leave a mark.
I'm okay. No!
Sprint yellow pages are worth protecting. No wonder they're the best red yellow pages.
Bet the bank on NASCAR Weekend 2005. Ante up for the Busch Series Samstown 300. Then double down for the Nextel Cup UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. March 11th through 13th. It's a high-stakes game featuring Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, Rusty Wallace, and more of the world's top drivers playing for a $6 million jackpot. Draw your seat online at lvms.com or call 644-4444. Then shuffle up and deal for NASCAR Weekend 2005 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Immediate Care provides you with quality home care from knowledgeable and dedicated healthcare professionals. With personal care attendant services for Medicaid and private pay clients, our services are designed to meet the needs of our clients in the comfort of their own homes. All of our staff are trained to work as a team to provide the highest quality of healthcare. Immediate Care in you. Nevadans helping Nevadans.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Planet Hyundai, the Hyundai sales world record holder, home of the 5998 Accent, and it's where you'll find the lowest price Hyundais in the world.
Welcome back. Since the inception of the Mountain West Conference, the Running Rebels have swept the Colorado State-Wyoming homestand just twice. They had a chance to make that thrice after Saturday night's win over the Rams and a quick turnaround to face the Cowboys tonight. Late first half, Jay Strait hits a banker to put the Cowboys up by 5. He had 21. From there, huge Rebel run. Lewis Amundsen punctuates the pass from Ramel Beck. Odarte Blankson finds Andy Hannon on the other wing for 3, firing up. Bottom. Gerald Blassingame hit 3 triplets during the run. He finished with 12 points on the game. And once again, the bench delivered 25 points from the non-starters. 12 came from Dustin Villapeg. A 20-4 run to close the first half and a 19-point lead. Second half, just maintained the lead. Michael Ume, big jam. Then one more for good measure. Ricky Morgan, the nice pass. He finds Amundsen again, who says, Dankeschön. Louis had 15. The Rebels win again. The final, 79-67. Much better team effort this time.
Really good to see a lot of different guys contributing and making good plays for one another, you know, and again, there's some carryover that we need, and now we got to do it again.
We're trying not to be worried about, you know, who gets it done on any given night. We're just trying to, you know, make sure it gets done and we get the win. And, you know, I think the more we do that, the more it will become contagious.
A big one at the top of the conference, Air Force at 25th ranked Utah. Nice driving layup by Mark Jackson for the Utes. Air Force was 8 of 21 from Archland. This one by Matt McCraw. Falcons only down by 2 at the half, but they couldn't contain Andrew Bogut. 25 points on 11 of 12 shooting for the big man. Utah remains unbeaten in the Mountain West, 63-51 the final. Last season, after 10 games, the Gladiators sat at 3-7. Winning the last 6 would have gotten them into the playoffs. They went 5-1. The one loss to Los Angeles. Those Avengers come to town on Sunday to kick off the 2005 season. The Gladiators have loaded up and are expected to contend this year, but the memories of the tough last season are still lingering.
We should have been 8-8 last year anyways from what we had, and this year is just an opportunity for us to come in there and improve and win those games we were supposed to win and make this run at it.
Well, it's already tomorrow in Australia, where Las Vegas Andre Agassi is preparing for the biggest and most anticipated match at the Australian Open. AA will face top-seeded Roger Federer in the quarterfinals in a couple hours. They met 7 times. Andre won the first 3. Federer won the last 4. One of only 5 people to ever win 4 straight against Agassi. If he's got one more Grand Slam title in him, this could be it.
Oh, it would be fun to see.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rick.
And we'll be right back.
What drives you? How about dependable Toyota cars?
Let's go!
Cars known to retain their value over the years, like the classy Camry, fun Corolla, unique Matrix, and sharp Solara. Now choose a lease of just $159 a month on Corolla, the most dependable compact car. Or $189 a month on the 05 Camry, America's #1 choice. Or great customer cash or low APRs on the 05 Camry, Corolla, or Matrix. What drives you? Toyota value. Now that's moving you forward.
Growing up in Las Vegas, I always dreamed about racing across America. But now that I've won the Nextel Cup Championship, I've come to realize there's no place like home.
Las Vegas Motor Speedway welcomes home NASCAR champion Kurt Busch for the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400 and Sam's Town 300, March 11th through 13th. Tickets are going fast at 644-4444 or select your seat online at lvms.com.
There's no place like home. And there's no place like Las Vegas Motor Speedway for NASCAR Weekend 2005.
Introducing the 300 horsepower Acura RL. With voice-activated technology and super handling all-wheel drive, power can be shifted front to rear, side to side, and while cornering, the outside rear wheel is accelerated for dramatically improved handling in all weather conditions. The all-new Acura RL.
Hope you have a chance to stay up for a little while. This Tonight Show sounds like it's really going to be a special one.
Yeah, it will be one that you don't want to miss. Stick around. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Good night.